President Trump seems to think he has a lot of enemies in the media, but he also has a lot of powerful friends. Most of America is familiar with one of them, Steve Bannon. He ran Breitbart, and now, of course, he's one of the president's top strategists. But Trump's powerful media network is much bigger than Bannon. Let's take a look at the pro-Trump media universe. It includes Rupert Murdoch and Fox News, not to mention pro-Trump hosts like Sean Hannity and the cast of Fox and Friends. Then there's Newsmax and InfoWars, radio hosts like Rush Limbaugh, sites like Breitbart and the Drudge Report, and then the National Enquirer. Yes, if you've looked at the Enquirer recently, you can tell when you're checking out the supermarket that it's become pretty pro-Trump. Pecker and the Enquirer made the news this week. That's David Pecker, the head of the brand, when Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski claimed the White House used the threat of a damaging National Enquirer story to try to affect and influence their coverage. Now, Trump denied this, but Scarborough says he has receipts. He says he has text messages proving that there were communications between Trump aides and Scarborough. Essentially, what Scarborough says happened is they kept reaching out to him and saying, if you just call up the president and apologize for what you've said that's so mean, the Enquirer won't be mean to you. We'll get the piece to go away. Some analysts said that sounds like blackmail. Now, Trump said, actually, it was Scarborough calling me trying to stop the story, and I said no. Either way, both men seem to be confirming that Trump has weaponized the National Enquirer. Back with me now, the panel: Carl Bernstein, Kelly McBride, David Zerwick, Olivia Nuzzi, and Ben Ferguson. Now, I have some new reporting on this morning, Zerwick. I'm told by a person close to Scarborough he doesn't want to show these text messages because he views these people as sources, anonymous sources, and he doesn't want to burn them. We'll see if that changes. I think it would help to have some evidence to back up his assertion. But what do you make of this idea that the president could be using his friends in the media to try to silence his opponents?
Yeah, when Scarborough and Mika talked about that on Friday, first of all, I thought they responded with restraint and kind of power and authority to those horrible tweets that Trump wrote about Mika Brzezinski. And you know, when we say we should all be covering the stories that are important, we shouldn't be focusing on this. Listen, we should be focusing on a president who says such things about women. It's a role model that's destructive to this country, and we should be passionate about it. We should not just say, oh, calm down. So that's part of it. The power of their Friday morning statement, and I watched it twice. I watched it live, and then I watched the replay. It was so compelling to me, was this thing about the National Enquirer. And you know what? Really, that's what I was saying earlier about the bottom-feeding end of journalism, if you even want to call it journalism. I think this is the tabloid world Donald Trump knew from his disco days and from getting in the celebrity columns. It's like the Walter Winchell era. I think, unfortunately, that's what he thinks the press is. He doesn't know about the high end of the press that Carl Bernstein represents. And I think, listen, if Joe Scarborough did put his hand in this and say we've got it, I think at some point there's some pressure on him to show some evidence, because Trump will keep saying lying, fake news, blah, blah, blah. And I believe, I mean, you know, give me between Mika, Joe, and Trump, I'm going with Mika and Joe. But this is a case now where if that's true, that's horrible. And Brian, you know, everybody on this panel knows how this stuff is done. It's kind of wink and a nod and an informal thing. Maybe Jared Kushner or somebody said, hey, just call the president up and make this thing go away. You know?
We have a better idea for a story for you. Yeah.
Yes.